the game Broad Street South Radio. What's up, guys? Man, happy Wednesday. And let's get ready to talk about Buck football. We got a lot to discuss between the Bucks and the Vikings. We got a lot to get down, the matchups, who should win and why they should win. We might have a chance to talk about some of the other things. So just get ready because this is again the aftermath on 102.9, the game Broad Street South Radio. Buck fans, I hope you are ready because tomorrow.
Got him! Got him!
Yes!
What's up, Buck fans? Again, happy Wednesday. You are listening to the aftermath on 102.9, the game Broad Street South Radio. I hope you guys are doing very well. Tomorrow, the official NFL season will start. I know we are happy. Man, we've been waiting all summer for this special glory opening day. And then Sunday, of course, the Buccaneers will face off against the Vikings in Minnesota. We will be getting into that. Also, we have special guests coming up. We got a full show tonight. And again, also shout out to our co-host, Slick, Coach Slick, the British guy who's always fly and on standby. He won't be here with us at this moment, but of course, Slick is always here with us in spirit. So yes, again, welcome to the aftermath on 102.9, the game Broad Street South Radio. Love saying that. But yes, so before we get into anything, we want to say a special prayer for former Bucs and Buffalo Bills wide receiver Mike Williams. We were misinformed that apparently that he had passed, but apparently he is still hanging in there. So many blessings and recovery for him, and just peace to his family. Hearts go out to you, man. So I just wish you the best. Now, again, it is the Bucs and the Vikings. Now, as of right now, last time I checked, the Vikings are 6 points for Vegas points. Like they're 6 points above in favor to beat the Bucs. Don't know why. I think but hey, it is what it is. I guess because they feel like the Bucs are going to be on the road, and that does it can make it tougher. But let me give you the injury report for the Bucs. Kancey had a calf. He's still fighting a calf injury. He did not participate in practice. Vaughn, non-medical issue, so he didn't participate. Merriweather, the safety, had a quad, but he was limited. Antoine Winfield had a calf, but he was at full participation. So as we can see, the Bucs are going to be typically at full health on the defense. And let's just hope if Kancey can get out there and just be average, this defense is going to be something else. Now, I do want to talk about something special that happened, Buck fans, and it was beautiful. Shaq Barrett restructured his contract for $10.468 million. Now, other people have said, well, they're just doing that just for cap space reasons. But Buck fans, I have a feeling we know why that's happening. And you already know. This points in the right direction that Buck fans out there who were speaking on Mike Evans, and we want him to be a Buck and retire as a Buck because that's our guy. I hope the Glazers are listening, and it sounds like so far that they are listening. So let's hope that this contract can get done before the end of the week. I actually would hope it's done before Saturday, before they fly out to Minnesota. That's just me. Get it done either tomorrow. If anything, you want to get it done tomorrow because that's the start, the opening of the NFL season, guys. We want our Buccaneer players to go throughout for the rest of the week. We want them to be in football mode, no worrying about money situations. The main objective for this week is to prep and be ready for Sunday because we're facing the Minnesota Vikings, a team that I do believe that we can beat. And not only that, that we are actually better than, because across the board, everything. We have better receivers. The running back situation is at 50-50. I like our chances. I like the fact that the Bucs are being slept on because that is going to be even better when we go out there and we upset everybody. A 6-point favor to me is just okay. It's not like the Vikings have Dalvin Cook anymore, but also they only have one person that's injured, and that was Troy Dye with an elbow injury. But we'll see. And then also, Buck fans, we will be having special guests. Like I said, we'll be bringing in Devin Sanguinet soon, and we're gonna have other people in. But let me just get my little rant off about the Bucks and Vikings. I'll break it down, but overall, I do think that the Bucks will beat the Vikings, and not just by a small amount. I do think the Bucks have the capability on both sides to dominate the Vikings. The reason why I say that is just I said the talent again. We have a lot of talent. You have, and then the dude is going to be coming in a second, and he's going to express certain things as well. But yes, Mike Evans, he's going to be hungry, and when that contract gets done, he going to ball. 30 years old. But I do like the fact that all of a sudden he's getting all this press from everybody, all these people who were saying he was mad or he was decent over the years. You want him. So I think that's hilarious because Mike Evans was not on anybody's radar until all of a sudden everybody heard about the Bucs' financial situations. So Evans essentially was that chick that y'all say she was a 5, but then when she gets single, now all of a sudden y'all want her. Yeah, that's what I'm saying about these damn. Some of y'all people, y'all owe Evans. A lot of people out there owe me an apology when it comes to Evans. I told y'all Evans has been that guy. He's always been the dude, but y'all just want to hate. But anyway, yeah, offensively the Bucs, they have too much. I think they can overwhelm the Vikings. I just think Baker is not going to be as bad as people say. He has too many weapons. And then if this run game can be consistent, which I think it will be, the beauty of this Bucs offense, they can be average and they can still take over the Vikings. I don't see anybody on the Vikings that can create enough pressure to overwhelm this offense. We have too many weapons. If I am Canales with Baker, I'm doing a lot of bootlegs, a lot of rollouts, some short passes, a lot of crossing routes in there. And then if we run the ball, of course, go to the strongest side of the ball, and that's going to be the left with Wirfs. It's just too much. On the defensive side, our front seven is going to create too much pressure. Kirk Cousins, everybody acts like that Kirk Cousins is, we know he's average and he has above average moments, but let's be real. I don't see Kirk Cousins getting through this defense like that. But so I do think that the Buccaneers can. I'm going to give you my prediction at the end of the show, but right now I'm going to bring on a special guest in the house. We got our buddy here, Devin Sanguinet.
Hey,
What's up, Devin? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. No, obviously
Good.
different environment than last time, but I'm making
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yes. Well, before we do anything, Devin, please tell everybody who you are and what do you like to do.
So yeah, I'm like the sole owner, like it's actually important, of Cannon Crunch. It's basically just a blog I started a few months back in February. Actually, my first article was after Byron Leftwich was fired, so it's important dates in history. But yeah, I just write about the Bucks. I'm probably more sarcastic than like say your Pewter reports and other blogs of that nature. That's just my style. So yeah, that's what I do. I would say like when I write, but it's pretty inconsistent right now. Just kind of busy with other things.
I understand, man. So I gotta ask. The Bucs are playing the Vikings, and like I mentioned before, the Vikings are favored by 6 points. A lot of people just think that the Vikings, even with the expert picks, I see a lot of people just come in thinking that the Vikings are just going to actually walk all over the Buccaneers. Like, what is your opinion on this game? How do you feel it's going to go, in your opinion?
I mean, if it was like the Vikings team last year, then it would probably be a challenge. But I just don't see it. They've sold so much talent, and it's like they don't have Dalvin Cook anymore. They don't even have a reliable option outside of Justin Jefferson. Like, yeah, you can probably make the argument that Jordan Addison will be better at some point, but it's like, as of right now, we don't know. For all we know, he's like Jalen Rieger again or something like that. Their defense wasn't very good last year, and they sold like the best part of it in Zadarius Smith. I'm sure Daniel Hunter is nothing to scoff at, and I saw like the matchup. He's going to be up against Luke Gedeke, which scares me a little bit, but like other than that, like I'm not afraid of like their corners or their secondary, so I don't see how they win. I think you put it best. It's like we're just more talented. We have a better defense, definitely. I would argue, a better offense on paper. I mean, Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver, but having I would argue having two really good wide receivers is still better. So yeah, that's my thought. I don't think I think the Bucks can walk away with the win.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We're gonna start on the offensive side by itself. I said it. Mike Evans alone is going to command double coverage,
No,
and
absolutely.
like we just said it. You said it. I don't see any corners with the Vikings that can take Evans one on one. So if you have Evans double, that leaves Chris Godwin to eat, which I honestly think that Godwin is going to have a bigger day than Evans, just because Evans is going to be the guy that they have to cover, and Godwin will be able to pick up the slack. Because when I was looking at the preseason, especially the Baltimore Ravens one, I kind of see that. Like, I feel that Baker is he has a nice little connection with Godwin, which is always good because Godwin is your more well-rounded receiver. He can
Yeah.
get you in the short pass, intermediate, and the deep route. So I do expect a lot of targets going to Godwin when Evans is being doubled. But I do have a feeling that Canales is going to find a way to make Evans the primary guy, that they try to at least force it to a few times, just so
Yeah.
it can make the Vikings be aware, hey, we're still going to go with our guy. You could double him all you want to. But I just think overall the receiving core is superior to their secondary. Now, with the running game, if the running game is just average, I think Rashad, this is the perfect team to go up against as a starter for the opening game. Their run defense I think is not gonna be all of that.
Unless
He's
Brian
better.
Flores has like some magic, like in a bag, it's not.
Yeah. And you are right. The Vikings gave up a lot of their defensive talent. So it's, to me, I just think because of that, people are still going on the fact that Brady's not here, that this team is taking a significant loss, when in actuality having a mobile quarterback is actually better suited for this offense, because you're right, in another way, that the line is the biggest concern, but the team
Yeah.
this defense that we're facing, this will be an actual stepping stone for the line.
Oh
Now,
yeah, if we were facing the Eagles, then I'd be a lot more concerned about the line. But
mhm. Now, what is your take for the defense? Who are you looking at, in your opinion, on defense to set the tone against the Vikings?
I would say probably because I think I saw that there's going to be Carlton Davis against Justin Jefferson for a lot of the game, so that's who I'm going to be looking at.
Hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of people, Devin, don't remember that the last time Carlton Davis and Justin Jefferson played against each other, Carlton Davis got the best
Oh yeah, it
of
was like
Justin
33
Jefferson.
yards or something, right? I remember seeing that stats.
Hmm. and I'm a big Justin Jefferson. I like Justin Jefferson, first off.
Mm.
So before I even say what I'm going to say here, because a lot of people out there are getting on me, I like Justin Jefferson, but I do think that people are jumping the gun by putting him as an elite receiver already and the best of the best. I think of it like this. He's had a great season last year. We've seen that before.
Mm.
We've seen Cooper Kupp have a good season and then he gets hurt. I think that if Justin Jefferson is your only primary weapon, that's not a good thing for the Vikings. They don't have Dalvin Cook. There's no Adam Thielen there. So now all the pressure, if anything, if I'm the Bucs, yeah, you already know, neutralize Justin Jefferson. I think he'll still go off a little bit, but not to the point
Yeah.
to where he's going to be supremely effective.
I don't see this is I don't think it's gonna be like a repeat of like that week 17 game against like or not week 17, but the Tyreek Hill game. I don't see that happening.
Me neither. Me neither. Well, first of all, Justin Jefferson ain't got no Tyreek Hill speed, but
No, he's not.
you're
No.
right. And is I think Hawkinson, I don't know. I think he's not banged up anymore, but I like Hawkinson,
He's
but
not an elite tight
the
end.
Vikings tight end, yeah, he's good, but I don't think he's not. It's not like he's Travis Kelsey or Eric
No.
Andrews or yeah, he's solid. He's a solid tight end, but from what I see, my guy that I think that's gonna actually that I'm hoping that can set the tone is going to be JTS. And I say that because if he can get pressure and be an edge rusher and get to Kirk, it can be a long day because I guarantee you the Vikings' biggest people that they are worried about on our defensive side is Levante David, Vita Vea, and Antoine Winfield. I think that they probably have their entire game film like, hey, if we neutralize Vita, we're good to go. If we take because Levante's the leader, so but I don't think that they're going to overlook JTS in my opinion. They're going to say, okay, he has potential, but he hasn't put it together. So if
I was gonna
JTS
say
can put it
for good
together,
reason.
yeah. Oh, wait a minute. What did you say? Al Bundy. Thank you for chiming in and giving us your opinion. He says Adam Thielen is useless. Hawkinson was the second most productive tight end in the NFL last year.
I disagree with that a little bit. I think Adam Thielen, he's obviously getting up there, but he's still proved like he's still had a few touchdowns, I think. And
Yeah,
like obviously that connection with Cousins, it's nothing to scoff at.
exactly. Um, and you guys are sleeping on Addison.
I'm not
Um,
sleeping on him. I'm just saying we don't know.
yeah, we don't, and that's the thing, Devin. A lot of people, when you're looking at it that way, Addison, he hasn't played an NFL game yet, like an actual NFL game where it counts, not the preseason. So don't jump the gun on that. I like Addison, but at the same time, I'll take Dean over Addison. One, Dean has more experience.
Yeah.
He's been in the league longer, and he has the speed to keep up with the Addison. And remember, it's not like Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback. Kirk Cousins is going to go with someone that he's more comfortable with, and that's Justin Jefferson. I will not be surprised that they try to force it to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening. Hopefully, just like a few turnovers come as a result of that, which is what I think will end up happening. Because you're right, like he will, if we get pressure on him, he's gonna force it to Jefferson. Like especially
Yeah,
like if like you said, if
absolutely.
JTS gets there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Addison is in the slot. You're right, Al, and you know who we got for the slot, right? We could do that's the one thing that I will give Bowles, Devin. He knows how to disguise certain defenses and
Oh
move it
yeah,
around. If
no one doubts his
if
defensive talents.
yeah, I'm sorry, like hell, I'm so confident I would put Winfield on Addison, and Addison will not get anywhere. That's how good this defensive front is going to be. But even if Winfield didn't play, the front seven for the Bucs is going to be is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Again, and dude will be joining us soon. Anytime when he says incoming, you about to hear that Stone Cold Steve Austin. So don't be surprised when we get politely interrupted. But yes, I think if JTS gets that pressure, that's going to open up so many things because we already know Vita Vea is going to demand double double.
He always
You
does.
have to. You have to.
Yeah.
That's arguably he's to me he's an elite nose tackle already. So if you don't double him, that's disrespect.
Yeah. I mean, he led the team in
And
sacks, which actually says more about really the edge rushes last year than, but he still got 6.5 sacks, which is nothing to scoff at.
no, especially at the nose tackle. Nose tackles typically are meant to just plug the holes and
Yeah.
let the edge rushers, like you said, go off. Uh, I think Cansey. I want to ask you, what is your feeling about Cansey, in your opinion? If he's healthy, do you think he can, make an impact?
I think he will do. I think he'll look fine. I just think missing all the preseason, unless he's like truly a special, like elite talent, I think that just means he won't be as good as we were hoping for. Because like I think just like missing all those practices, because he missed pretty much all of practice, right?
Yes,
Because
he
I know
did.
he missed all of the preseason, so it's like I think he'll be fine. But we're not going to see like I think we will. Some Bucks fans may just be disappointed because of that, but I think like maybe 2 sacks is somewhere along those lines. So it's like nothing special, but I think looking to next year is when we'll see like that evolution, assuming no injuries.
Mm-hmm. Well, hell, if Kancey can produce 2 sacks and he hasn't played the entire preseason, that's a win in my book. I
Yeah.
mean, he does that right. That's the thing. I do think we just talked about Vita and Kancey. Kancey just has to be average. If he is
Hmm.
average in
Yeah.
this game, it's gonna be a long day for the Vikings because do you even know who their starting running back is gonna be?
It's Madison, right? Isn't it still?
I think so, but that's the point. You have to guess. When Cook was there last season, we didn't have to. We knew who he was and what he could bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't even know
You
who the
know,
number 2 guy is actually. I haven't figured that one out. Yeah.
yeah, I don't either. But that is the whole point. That's why I'm very like I'm confused what the media sees in the Vikings that we haven't seen. I know
It's
a
just
lot of people will say coaching, but Bowles, this is where Bowles was specialize, especially in a team like this with only one true star on the team, and that's Jefferson. We know who Kirk Cousins is. He has shown us who he is. Now, yes, can he? He's a hit or miss kind of guy. One game he's on, then
yeah.
the next he's off. But with this team, um, I don't think so. Al said, Devin, did you mean 2 sacks for the year or for
Oh,
Kansas first?
actually did mean the yeah. That's what I meant. That's what I mean by like average.
Mhm.
Because it's
I I think with this defense, if they stay healthy and he gets more, I see Cansey becoming like getting into a full rhythm, like you said, by the end of the season. But I
yeah,
do,
if he heats up towards the end, I can see him surpassing that. But I don't think he's going to be like. I'll just put it like this: I don't think he's going to be defensive rookie of the year.
okay. So basically, he's not gonna have a Micah Parsons
No,
type of season.
I just don't see it. Like, because one thing, like the defensive line just might be so talented that he might honestly just be squeezed out.
Hmm.
And the other thing
Okay.
is just like I said, he's missed so much practice that like by the time he heats up, like it'll be towards the end.
Hmm. Do you think Logan Hall, the second year guy, you think he's gonna is? Do you see any potential with him?
I don't know. A lot of people are down on him. I haven't seen much that says like that's also like an elite guy. I hope he turns it around, but like I think he's gonna be like an average player. I don't see like special like can't see. I see him becoming like he's like a special talent to me. Like I think like next season at the least or the end of the season, like we will see like I mean, I know so many people said this in the media when we drafted him. It's like Aaron Donald type.
Hmm.
I just don't see that kind of superstar like ceiling for Logan Hall. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see it.
So yeah, he could pop if if he doesn't, I think he could potentially be a good role player,
Yeah.
and good on
I
depth.
see him
But
like as a Nelson, like
yeah,
or Golston type.
hmm yeah, and that's another thing. Again, we're designed to stop the run. I would love. Wait a minute. Okay, so you said missing preseason will make Kancey a liability in the run game, which he was already a little bit of a liability because of his weight, possibly. But I think honestly, it depends. Vita Vea is good at both. So,
Yeah,
like we said, Al, if with Vita's presence, Cansey should be able to do certain things because he's not going to
because
get doubled
here's the
because
thing, like
Vita's that guy.
if Kalijah gets to like the running back before like they can even get like a step or get moving, like because he just shoots right through the gap, then like his lack of size and weight won't be too much of a hindrance.
Mm-hmm. Uh oh. Uh oh. I think we're about to. The dude is about to grace us with his presence. Hold on.
You know it's all about the
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Eh,
Gentlemen, how are we doing out there tonight?
We're doing good. Talking Buck football. We're basically just saying how the Bucks should have a dominant game against a Vikings team that has nowhere near the talent or depth chart roster as the Bucks.
Man, let me do a quick reset right here. Freshly back from burning, man. I'm joined on screen by Devin from the Cannon Crunch blog, WordPress.com. Check it out now. AJ Turnup from It's About Bucking Time. And here soon, gracing us with his presence in the lobby, none other than SI's Bucks Game Day, JC Allen, coming with fresh eyes from Buccaneers practice and all the inside low down dirty. Now, what's going on? Oh, wait. First of all, with complete reverence, thoughts and prayers out to Mike Williams and his family.
yeah.
That's all we can really say. Anything else is just going to be wearing it out. So prayers up. Back to a little lighter note here. Hey, Buccaneers got some money, about to sign some player. I understand Greg Oman and the boys in the real media, mainstream media, whatever. Those guys, you can't draw too many lines of comparison, without having some back behind it because you don't want to put your name out there the wrong way. But let's be honest. It's Wednesday. The deadline is Saturday. Now, is that Saturday at 12:01 a.m.? Because if that's the case, you really only got 2 more days left. And we've seen reports from Josina Anderson. Did I say that right? Josina?
I think so. I know you.
Where she was just vaguely saying that, Evans' side has turned in an offer. I'm sure they've gone back and forth.
Yeah.
That's cool. Glazers, because he named the owners, Mike Evans' agent named the owners in his little press release, not Jason Light or the front office. So Glazers, I know you're dealing with the whole Manchester United and, all that stuff, and the fact that you're not allowed to ride most of the rides at Disney World because of the height requirements. That said, Mike Evans has been nothing but the man on and off the field. That's key. On and off the field. Mike Evans doesn't whine, doesn't complain, does what he's asked. The contract restructures like the one we saw with Shaq Barrett today, I mean, we can give credit to the player for approving it, but let's be honest. What they're really saying to the guy is, hey, you want to play all year but get paid up front? Because that's all that really is. Now, that said, the player could be like, nah, man, I like my shit broke down in payments and all that, whatever. Mike Evans should be re-signed soon. I don't have a source. It's a gut feeling. Maybe JC Allen, when he comes on, has some other information. But with that said, if you guys haven't checked it out, we'll retweet some of his stuff from Devin and Cannon Crunch. Of course, it's about bucking time with AJ. And I noticed there's a slot missing here. Did the British invasion leave? What happened, bro?
Look, his presence is always still with us, no matter what. But I do like that you were saying about the contract. I'm gonna say this because it's football official. NFL football will be official tomorrow. I would not be surprised if they strike a deal by then because what they want, I think it's in the Bucs' best interest to have their players focused going into the weekend. Shouldn't be about money. If anything, if I am the Glazers, you want to get things done ASAP so Evans can come in and feeling confident. Can you imagine him having a fresh ass deal tomorrow and then Friday rolling in, just chilling, and then Saturday, man, I'm gonna be with my team and we're gonna go out there to Minnesota and bust the Vikings' ass.
Yeah.
That's how you handle business. They need to handle that by tomorrow. Tomorrow, before the game, before the Chiefs and the Lions, we should be seeing an article. Evans and the Buccaneers agreed to a 3 to 4 year deal.
Yeah.
I agree. And again, freshly back from a medicinal induced coma at Burning Man, let me tell you, it was kind of wet and muddy. Speaking of wet and muddy, Slick, our favorite guy who's not here, the guy who's AWOL at the moment, for lack of a better way to put it. Y'all know we call him Coach Slick, and that's just not tongue in cheek. He's actually a football coach over there in the United Kingdom. Be looking for an article on BucsReport.com and SportsTalkFlorida.com written about a week in the life, basically, of a American football coach in the United Kingdom. And this is about Slick and his football team. I'm going to butcher the name, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Worcestershire Steelers, Worcestershire. Anyway, those guys. Look for that real quick. And also, we are, as you can see here by the graphic, live on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. Let me tell you right now, if you're not listening to streaming radio, you're probably listening to a bunch of BS commercials. Devin's got a lot of great content up on his blog, Cannon Crunch. When we get a little bit of a time here, let's let him unpack some of that because traffic rules the world, and that's what we're here for: is create talk, create buzz, create traffic, and basically so I can play stupid wrestling themes when I come on screen. Back to Shaq Barrett. Hey, it's been a rough offseason, dude. If anybody deserves a big cash lump sum payment up front, it's you. Now, please don't go on vacation all year, bro. I'm excited. I think the Buccaneers are better than the national media thinks, but not quite as good as some of the local media thinks. And yeah, that's me playing the fence there. But let's be honest, with Tom Brady and some handicaps last year, that's all I'm going to say. They were able to win the division, but did so with a losing record and finished with a losing record. So the hardcore hallucinogenic pick that I have for the Buccaneers season that I got at Burning Man this weekend is Buccaneers will win 10 games, but be the wild card into the NFC side, or one of the three. That's my prediction. If you don't like it, put something in the comment section. I won't respond, but it'll make you feel better. My question to you, this is off. Well, it's not really off Bucs topic, but it kind of is. Who's going to win the NFL MVP this year? Does Aaron Rodgers reclaim it because he had it for a minute, or is it going to be Patrick Mahomes?
See, I say Lamar Jackson, actually. I think he comes back. I think if he finishes the season and with actual receivers this time, I know Odell, not the greatest wide receiver talent, but as like the number 2 or number 3 guy, I think he's serviceable. But Zay Flowers seems like he's going to be really good in that system. Hopefully without Greg Roman, and Todd Monken can do a little bit better. I think it's Lamar.
We got Lamar. We got Lamar and a Patrick on the board. What do you got, AJ?
I'm gonna say this, and I know I'm going on the limb, but if he stays healthy, I'm gonna go with Burrow. I think Burrow has the fire and intensity to do it, and most importantly, he has the weapons to. Higgins and Jamar Chase, he has the potential to do it. Now, if he stays, that's what I'm saying. He stays healthy. With Mahomes, I think we're finally seeing the fact that the contract that he got was a big payday. Don't get it wrong, but it's coming back to bite the Chiefs. And Kelsey is slowly, let's see if he can stay healthy this year. Who does Mahomes really have to throw to? Now, if Mahomes is able to have an elite level and let's say throw for like 45 touchdowns and only like 10 to 12 interceptions, but what he has right now, oh, absolutely, MVP. I just don't see that yet. I see the Chiefs doing good because they it's Mahomes, but we're gonna see what happens when you don't have like if Kelsey doesn't stay healthy, it's gonna be it could be a long season held. And then with Chris Jones with his situation, I'm calling it right now. Detroit is going to win tomorrow. I think just because they have a lot more, they're going to come in there with a lot more intensity. And without Jones, that defense is going to get exposed. It's not like even with Jones in, the Chiefs defense wasn't all that good anyway. They're okay. But yeah,
they just scored 35 points a game, so it doesn't matter.
That's true. But that's why, but that again, that was with healthy Kelsey, and they had at least Juju, and they had guys who could just make it happen. But I don't know if Kelsey that is not going to be healthy. That's going to be a major blow to Mahomes. But we'll see. So that's why I got my money on Burrow. I wouldn't be surprised if Burrow comes out just slinging.
Okay, Slick. Sandwell Steelers. My bad. Hey, I just wanted to try to say wash your sister sauce. No, I totally agree. I should say I totally agree. I agree with that. Hey, shout out to Al Bundy. That's all we're going to say, because if I talk about your daughter, that's creepy.
Oh, God. Yes.
Well, Kelly Bundy, right?
Yes, of course.
Christina Applegate. There. I'll help you all out. Christina Applegate.
Oh, no. I know all about Al Bundy. Al Bundy was that dude. Oh, but wait. Al said Lamar is good. Dark horse Trevor Lawrence.
I can see Trevor Lawrence just because of a weak schedule. Like, I think that will balloon his stats a little bit.
Keep in mind, we're on that schedule.
Yes.
Besides the Bucs.
Yeah.
I mean, he's facing the Saints, so clearly he's going to go for 500.
Right. I don't see Trevor. Trevor don't have enough weapons yet. A guy like Trevor, I think at this juncture of his career, I don't think he's ready yet to where he's going to just put the entire team on his back just yet. Next year, I could see that, but I think right now he needs more consistent weapons. He doesn't have a Godwin or a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, that type of receiver just yet to help him. He needs an elite receiver.
Hey, you know how the big media thing nationally was pushing, kind of trying to speak it into existence that the Bucs were going to trade Mike Evans, right? Oh, and then, so of course, with that came every article about potential rumors and targets for Evans. Why didn't nobody bring up Jacksonville? They're literally a star receiver away from an elite offense, bro.
Oh, agreed. But that's because people are very biased. A lot of people that I've seen that were like, he would be good is the Chiefs fans, Giants fans, which I don't know why the hell Evans would go there. They would have to give him
why did people keep saying the Giants? I get they need a wide receiver, but
Daniel Jones is the quarterback. Evans has been through enough already. But guys,
hey, guess who we got?
Let's bring.
Let me do it. Guess who's back? Back again. JC's back. Tell a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the greatness, the man from up north who dominates the South from SI Bucs Game Day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome JC Allen.
Probably change that. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right, my man. Be excited. Tomorrow's football, but we're gonna be more excited Sunday when the Bucs walk away with a victory. And I'm speaking into existence. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's game week. We got a game tomorrow. Super excited about that. Game week in preparation right now. I'm actually working on my article for tomorrow through the Spyglass, which will be a scouting report I'll have keys to Cannon Fire. Shout out to the dude coming out on Thursday, as well as our game prediction and my season prediction coming out on Saturday. So busy week, obviously, with everything back in swing, practices back in swing. But I'm excited for it. Football season, you wait for it to get here, and when it's here, you're just that much more excited. So let's go.
Hey, I want to say, first of all, we're excited that you're the first StreamYard podcast you've done since moving to Bucs Game Day with that little logo up there, with that little name there. And dude,
Absolutely.
that basketball behind you, what's the signature on that basketball, bro?
Jason Tatum.
Oh,
You suck.
We'll be right back. 1 second, guys.
nice.
Yeah, do your thing.
Do you think, JC? But I do want to ask, and this is both of you, when it comes, and this is before JC gets back on, but give me your 2 stars on offense and then on defense that's going to shine. Devin, go. Who do you, the 2 people on offense and then 2 people on defense?
I think just because of the secondary, it's probably Godwin and Evans on offense. I just think that, like we already talked about, I don't trust this secondary, and I think that the run game, I think, will be fine. I think that the defensive line will be good enough to maybe contain Rashad White and Sean Tucker. As far as defense, I'm going to say Carlton Davis and probably Vita Vea.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, JC, I'm glad you're on, my man. We were just asking. Give me 2 of your players on offense and on defense on the Bucs that you think are gonna have a hell of a game.
Yeah, I think Rashad White is one of them. This guy's poised for a breakout year. You could tell he was amped up and frustrated in that last preseason game. He wanted to keep going, and this is going to be a run-first team. And the way this offense is set up, it's going to create nice holes for him. You let him use his patience and vision and burst to be able to pick up some chunk yardage. So I'm looking at him on offense, and also Chris Godwin as well. You know, you look at this team, Minnesota Vikings defense, their secondary. There's nothing to write home about. They got Byron Murphy out there who's had some productive seasons with the Cardinals, but also missed some time. Caleb Evans, who I was high on as a rookie last year, ended the season on injured reserve. He's thrust into that starting role. So Mike Evans will probably get the better of those 2 cornerbacks, but Chris Godwin should feast on Sunday. So those are my guys on offense. On defense, I'm really looking at Antoine Winfield Jr. It's a big game for him. I know he's a little banged up right now, but going back to Minnesota where his dad played all those years, and back at his position at free safety, I think he'll be able to come up and make some plays, whether that's in the run game, whether that's in the passing game. Expecting him to have a big game there, as well as potentially Levante David as well. Alexander Madison's their new running back since they lost Dalvin Cook, or cut him rather. So that's a situation where they will be trying to run the ball with him. And I think Levante David, just having that sideline to side presence as a linebacker, he's going to rack up some tackles and maybe make some game changing plays. Those 2 bookend tackles they have over there with Darisaw and O'Neal, it's going to make it a little bit tough for Shaq and JTS to really feast. They're pretty good in the middle too, with Ezra Cleveland and Garrett Bradbury. So Vita Vea, and if Kalijah, who still has not been ruled out, might be able to go. That's a good offensive line they're facing. And obviously we know the matchup that Justin Jefferson brings. KJ Osborne is underrated as a slot guy who's a good blocker, catcher. He makes a difference in the run game. And then Jordan Addison, he's a terrific route runner. So they've got some, and that doesn't even include TJ Hawkinson, which is another thing. Levante David will mostly likely be in coverage on him most of the time. So he'll have his hands full there too. So it's going to be a fun matchup. I think it's a matchup that is going to be a close game just because of the 2 teams. I think they both have, where they're better at is obviously the Bucs defense, and then the offense for Minnesota. Their defense is still a work in progress. They're going to be starting a ton of young guys this year. They've got guys like Danielle Hunter, Harrison Smith, guys who are pros who their name. They brought in Marcus Davenport, who the Bucs are familiar with. And that offense is explosive, but there's a lot of question marks around the Bucs offense, something that the league hasn't really seen before. They've seen variations of it, coming back from that Shanahan offense all the way to Mike through, through his son Kyle, through McVay, and they're going up against one of the McVay disciples and Kevin O'Connell. So, I think they have a chance to surprise and take advantage of some of those holes on defense.
Excellent. So, if you had one word to describe this Bucs offense, in your opinion, go.
One word to describe the Bucs offense: versatile. Versatile. I think they're going to be able to beat you in a multitude of ways. I think they're going to be able to line up in the same formation, but have several plays out of that. You're going to see a lot of versatility from these running backs, being able to line up out wide, be factors in the passing game. You're going to see Mike Evans in the slot. You're going to see him on the left side, the right side. Same thing with Chris Godwin. They're going to be doing a lot of different things with two tight ends. It'll be a very versatile offense that I don't think teams are quite ready for. It's going to have shades. Look at these, these derivatives, McVay, Shanahan, what they did in Seattle last year. It's going to have a little handprints on all of those, and some of the Schottenheimer, some of the Darrell Bevel stuff that they used, that he was around. So it's going to be real versatile offense, and it's going to be exciting to watch. I'm excited to see, now that we're actually getting into it. Excited to see what it looks like on the field instead of just the practice field.
No, you said it best. I'm already excited just because I think this Bucs offense is going to have its potential truly tested and tried out this year. The word that for me is creative for the offense. I saw plays in the preseason against Baltimore that we would never have seen last season with Byron at the helm.
Yeah.
So that is already going to excite me. I got Baker having a good day. I got Baker at least throwing for 2 touchdowns. And if he doesn't break the 300 passing barrier, it'll be short. I'd say about 285. I say this Bucs offense can be low-key lethal because he's a dual quarterback. You can't collapse the pocket anymore like you did with Brady, and
Right.
Brady would just throw the ball away or take a sack. One thing that we can agree on, Evans' best statistical yardage seasons was with a mobile quarterback who knew how to improvise after the play. Baker can do that. So
Right.
the play might look broken, but he'll mess around and Evans will go deep and he'll launch it to him or Godwin or Trey Palmer that people are forgetting about that's on this team. And Otten is going to be that safe blanket. So I see Baker and Godwin connecting. I think I was telling Devin, due to the fact that Godwin can be more versatile with the intermediate and deep passing, and I think that him and Baker are going to have a repertoire, and it's going to be effective. So that is, with that being said, on defense, I got JTS. I don't know why. Something tells me if JTS goes off, JC, it's going to be a long day for the Vikings. I say that because Vita's going to be doubled. We know that already. Everybody in here knows Vita has to be doubled. If he's not, that's just an insult. So if he goes off, can you imagine? I don't know if Shaq is going to be starting, but if he does, that takes the pressure off Shaq, because I told Devin this earlier. I don't think the Vikings are going to be fully taking JTS serious yet. Their main objective is to stop Winfield, Vita, and Levante. Maybe Devin, but JTS is not on their radar. So I can see that happening. And if JTS goes off, it's over. I honestly, in my personal opinion, I'll say my prediction score later, but I see the Bucs controlling this game. How about you? Like, is there anybody besides Justin Jefferson that you are afraid of?
I don't say there's anybody I'm afraid of, but that's the thing. If you lock it on one player, death by 1,000 paper cuts. They've got guys who can beat you. Hawkinson is a guy, that can beat you. Same thing with like I said, KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison. Madison's looked good in times where Dalvin Cook was injured. So you can't just focus on just Justin Jefferson. Obviously, he's the big focus and the main focus on that offense. But there's definitely guys. JTS, I really like JTS's prospects this year. A lot of people are ready to throw in the towel on him and Logan Hall for that matter. But what people don't remember is that JTS didn't play college in 2021 because of COVID. He came in as 2020. In 2021, he came in and split some starter reps there with Jason Pierre-Paul when he was banged up for the most part. They're playing him out of position just to get him on the field. And then last year, there are sacks that he should have had, guaranteed. But he had over 40 pressures last year on the quarterback, 4 sacks. And after week 8, once Shaq went down, teams were not worrying about Anthony Nelson. How do we slow down Anthony Nelson? If they were sending a tight end or putting blocking protections on that defensive line, other than Vita Vea, it was for JTS. And they were leaving that tight end there to chip him, or the running back to chip him to slow him down. And it wasn't Anthony Nelson that they're doing against. So in a year with Shaq's back, with the interior pressure that Vita Vea and Claudia can't see, I'm expecting a big year from JTS. And I spoke with him after practice a couple of weeks ago, and he's expecting the same thing for himself. He's been in, and he knows he's got to finish. He's essentially, it's not a contract year. Right in these players' third years, it is a contract year if you're a first round pick, because of that 5th round option. If you don't play well enough in year 1 and year 2, year 3 becomes your contract year. You're playing for that 5th year option, and we know how much of a jump in pay that can be. Enough so that sometimes that teams would rather extend a player in their 5th year then it's going to happen with Tristan Wirfs, because his contract, his 5th year option with an All-Pro and 2 Pro Bowls is going to be like up there, $18 million for the season. So they're going to have to extend him to knock that cap hit down. So same thing with outside linebackers, any of these positions that have that 5th year option. A lot of teams want to get that done before that 5th year so they can manage the cap and push some of that salary down the line. So, I think he's poised to have a breakout year, working with Coach George Edwards, who was with Micah Parsons, Jared Allen, some of the great pass rushers, is only going to help him as well. It depends on what side. I mean, Christian Darrisaw was one of the best tackles in the league last year, finished with a 90.3 overall grade from Pro Football Focus. Brian O'Neill was a Pro Bowler in 2021. He ended last season, week 17, with an Achilles, but he looks to be back, and he's a beast who signed I think it was like a 6-year, $96 million, 5-year, $96 million contract. So he's paid. He's a good left tackle as well. So, it's certainly going to have some problems, but yeah, you have to at least get pressure on Kirk, because just watching quarterbacks on NFL, you see, if once he starts to get hit, he starts to get rattled. That defense doesn't show improvement. It's one of those things where they won 11 games by 1 score or less. Luck was on their side for a lot of those, but if the defense isn't improved under Brian Flores, with a lot of young guys starting, the Bucs could definitely take advantage of some of those matchups there, and potentially come out with a bigger victory than many people thought. Yes, and Al Bundy, sorry, right tackle. Darrisaw's a left tackle. Neil's a right tackle. It's late at night.
Nothing wrong with that. Well, and you said you've been in the locker and you spoke to certain players, and you don't have to give me names, but in your opinion, and if you were there last year, what do you feel a different type of vibe this
Absolutely.
season? Oh, okay. So let's hear it then. What kind of vibe do you get this season?
Absolutely. The past 3 years, and everyone on that team is grateful for the past 3 years. Definitely 3 consecutive playoff trips after 12 years without it, a Super Bowl, 2 division titles. Everyone is absolutely grateful for, I call them the Tom Brady years. But at the same time, the last 3 years, it was Tom Brady and the Bucs, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Let's head down to Tampa to see what Tom Brady and the Bucs are doing. It's not that anymore. And there were some guys who that Super Bowl and just their career kind of made them feel kind of Mr. Big Shot as well, and kind of me first. Those guys are no longer on the team. I don't need to spell it out. But I think this season you can sense the camaraderie. You can sense the culture that they've been building. They've got something to prove. It wasn't all just Tom Brady. And again, they love Tom Brady, but it wasn't all just Tom Brady. That they are still talented players from that defense, talented players from the last 2 years that are on that, 3 years that are on that team, that are ready to show that it wasn't just Tom Brady that we were that good. We were this good before him. We're going to be good after him. And they're ready. They hear the negative, the media and everything that's going on out there, and they understand, they've got a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to go out there and prove that, hey, we see that we're getting this 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins. There's too much talent on this team. We're too good of a team in a division that has real question marks, in a conference that has real question marks outside of maybe the Eagles and the 49ers. You can throw the Cowboys in there, but Cowboys are going to cowboy, but you can throw them in that mix too, I guess. And there's question marks. So they feel a little slighted. They're ready to prove that it wasn't all Tom Brady, that this team can do it. And you can sense that camaraderie and that culture through the locker room.
Oh, that's what I want to hear. I love it. Thank you, JC. That just makes me feel so much better. And I wanted to ask y'all that because I'm glad we got to it. I want to start with you, Devin. What was the biggest thing that you've heard so far this season by the media that you were just sitting back like, okay, do they watch football or are they just talking for views?
I guess it's like one thing, the Mike Evans trade rumors. Oh my God. I just kept retweeting the same article I wrote like 5 months ago because so many news outlets would keep dragging it out. Like, oh, this team would be a good fit for him. And this team would be like, oh my God, like, come on. But I would say the other big thing is like, it's like news media refuses to acknowledge. It's like, oh, we have Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Everyone else just sucks now. And it's like, I just don't understand that narrative. It's like, yeah, okay, you can argue that Baker Mayfield is a worse quarterback. Although I can make an argument that like Baker Mayfield could look better than Tom Brady did last season just because he didn't look like himself. But regardless, like, it's like, no, we still have like, what, 10 players that made it to the Super Bowl still on the team. So it's like to ignore like all the other talents that will make Baker's life a lot easier. I just think it's like, what are you doing? Like, I just don't understand it.
All right.
Okay, how about you, JC? What about you? What was something that you heard where you were just like, huh?
I think there's a lot of misconception about Baker Mayfield. First is that he's injury prone. He's missed 3 games in his career, other than his rookie season when he wasn't playing right away. He then went on to score 27 touchdowns, which at the time was a rookie touchdown record. And the fact that Baker Mayfield's just a bad quarterback. Has he had issues with decision making at times? Yes. But how much of that was him? How much of that was the players around him? And how much was that the coaching staff? Because remember, Todd Bowles is his 8th head coach in 5 years, and Dave Canales is his 7th offensive coordinator in 5 years. Tell me which quarterback can thrive with that recipe right there. Not many can.
Ryan.
Not many. Not many do. Alex Smith is the only one that comes to mind, and that was after he went to Kansas City with Andy Reid. Right? He's the only guy that had that many coordinators. Blaine Gabbert, Bucs hero, Bucs legend, faced a similar situation, and he's backing up Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City with Andy Reid.
Maybe
So
you could say Aaron Rodgers.
I don't. Aaron Rodgers didn't have that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was already good when he came in. When he started before, and when he started getting those coordinator changes. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think. I mean, I'm talking like to start your career.
No, yeah.
I think Carolina too. You look at it, that was never a good destination spot. His best year was in 2020 in a derivative of this offense. Kevin Stefanski runs a derivative of the Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan offensive tree, and that was his best year. He went 11-5, and they were a Chad Henne 4th and 13 scramble defensive that couldn't stop from going to the AFC Championship game.
And also a missed helmet call.
Absolutely. So, I mean, they're in the AFC Championship game, and I think we're looking at Baker Mayfield in a different light. I think that he might have not always been Kevin Stefanski's guy. And when Deshaun Watson, who's arguably a top 10, top 7 when healthy quarterback in the league just based on skill alone, becomes available, and it's a franchise-changing move, and he's your guy, maybe you bring him in. I know the Bucs would have been interested in Baker Mayfield had Brady not unretired last year. So having him come in here was a no-brainer. I think that in this offense where he's going to be asked to just make the smart plays, be the point guard, as Dave Canales says, take the body blow, and then use that ability to escape the pocket, or maybe a play breaks down and you find Mike deep or you find Chris deep, Trey deep, and hit him with a knockout punch. And I think that's going to play to his strength, and it's going to play to the offensive strength too. So This system, I think, is tailor-made for what he does best. And I think that's the big misconception is since Baker's a quarterback, this team is doomed to only win 2 or 3 games. I just don't see it.
I agree. And we got a full house, guys. Let's bring in. We got one of our main co-hosts, Coach Slick, is in here. The British guy who's always flying on standby.
Hey, I'm sorry I was not on standby today, boys. I do apologize, but work has to work, and someone's got to get the whips cracking, right?
No problem. We have just been sitting on here just talking Bucs and Vikings games, and if you want, we're just asking what was the biggest issues and pet peeves you've had so far this season. I mean, before this entire summer, about the misperception of the Bucs by the media. What's the biggest thing that annoyed you, Slick?
That the Bucs are only going to get 2 wins. That's insane. It's way too talented to get 2 wins. I can understand people lowballing us. I really can. I can see us being in the argument being in that like 6-win column, but 2 wins is just ridiculous. That we're going to be so bad that the Texans could be better than us. That's so bad that Chicago could be better than us. I just don't see it. It's almost disgusting in that way, but it's the Brady effect, isn't it? When the Lord gave us, we were the gods of the football world, and then as soon as he's gone, we turn back. But people forget, before Brady came, before Brady, that timeline, we were a quarterback away, and we proved it by getting that quarterback. So the Buccaneers are only, I'd say, a quarterback away, maybe a piece or 2 away from being a true contender. And if we can get what we're supposed to get out of Baker Mayfield, then by all means, we might not even need to search too far.
Oh, Slick, killing it. I'm gonna go back to what you and JC were saying. I think the simple fact that Baker, that he didn't meet the expectations that a lot of people thought he should have made. But I tell people, you're not being fair. Honestly, with this Bucs roster, this is the best Bucs. This is the best team that Baker will ever be on. It's
the best wide receiver he's going to.
Yeah, the best. Yeah, and then defense. He's got a solid defense, so I expect him to do good things. I think he's got good. I like his fire and desire to want to win, but unfortunately, throughout most of his career, he wasn't surrounded by that either. I think everybody doesn't realize in Cleveland, when OBJ was there, I don't think that chemistry was as good as people thought it should be, because OBJ was more about OBJ. Now people can say that he wasn't, but his personality and the way he came off speaks a lot. But my biggest thing is the disrespect that they think that we're going to finish dead last in the Saints. All this praise on the Saints because Derek Carr is with the Saints. First of all, JC, the only person he got is Ole. And I like Ole, but he's like, to me, the 4th best receiver at this point. He ain't better than Evans. He ain't better than Godwin. If CJ Moore was still here, I would say he has flashes, but that's it. Their defense is getting old. The Saints defense is getting old. Cameron Jordan ain't who he was. He's a situational guy now. Lattimore, he is, whatever. He all right. But Demarius Davis, he's still solid. But besides all of that, them losing, I think Hankerson,
they lost like 5 people.
I think that hurt them a lot more than what they thought. But I'm gonna bring. We got a full house tonight. Look, we got JT Olsen in the house. What's up, JT Olsen? How you doing?
Hey, how y'all?
We doing good. Look, we get on, we go off. I just gotta let everybody. It's a full house. You are listening to the Aftermath on 102.9, the Game Broad Street South Radio. It is hot tonight. We are fired up. There's 5 of us here tonight. So please feel free to give us your ideas and your opinions on everything. And JT, tell them who you are so they can follow you, because you be doing hella good articles.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm lead writer over there at thebucksreport.com. Also run my own Buccaneers podcast, the Creamsicle Chronicle podcast. And I just recently, in the last few weeks, part of a new podcast. So if anyone who follows sports gambling, you can catch my podcast Around the Book on the YouTube and the Twitter and all that kind of good stuff. So that's me. That's where I'm at.
Okay. I love it. Look, and guys, this man is a big fan of Gedeke. So look, the pressure is on him to Sunday. Let's just get this out of the way, JT. Is this a fair matchup? Is this a good start for Gedeke coming out the gate Sunday?
I don't know if it'll be a good start, but it'll be an excellent measuring stick for Gedeke. Danielle Hunter, one of the best pass rushers in the game. I mean, the last 3 seasons he's been healthy, it's been double-digit sacks, 14 and a half, 14 and a half, and 10 and a half. So he's one of the most underrated pass rushers in the league, and he's one of the best. So we're going to learn real quick if Gedeke is functional at right tackle or if he's going to be what he was last year. Good against average Joes, but getting pushed around against the top end of the league.
Right.
I'm a little nervous about it because most people get pushed around against top end players. So an unproven guy like Gedeke, we'll see.
I mean, hey, we already know that. Honestly, the biggest concern so far is the line. We know this, but I think Canales is going to find a way to polish that up. I just see so much. I know a lot of people think, oh, you're just saying that, AJ, because you're a Buck fan. No, I see so much potential because it's different. We all can agree last year and under the Brady regime in his era, when you had the perfect players to execute certain game plays, it was going to work with all those weapons. But when things were down, they were down. With this team this season, I feel like no matter what, and with the guy with the OC with balls, actually, he is going to bring the best out of his players. And I want this, JC. What do you feel? Do you feel like the vibe with Canales is much different than the person who shall be nameless last year? Do you feel that there is more of a hell yeah, this dude is out there trying to get the best of our abilities and not just his? When you get back to that, because I'm hyped. I tell you, I feel like it's different. I love the fact that we have creativity. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, I think when you look at the situation with Canales, you can feel the energy through the room. Everyone is really excited for what he can bring to the offense, even some of the defensive guys. It really is an offense that highlights everyone's what they do best. On the offensive line, you're going to ask guys, in this wide mid-zone offense, you're going to ask guys to block more horizontally rather than vertically. Use their athleticism and speed, get them out in space. I think that's going to help this offensive line with the tight ends. Very tight end friendly offense last year. The Seattle Seahawks had over 102 receptions from that room, with Noah Fant having 50 of those. I think this is the game where you look at that matchup with Bill Hunter and Luke Gedeke, expect them to be in 12 personnel a lot. They're going to want to establish that run and utilizing those tight ends out there, being able to, chip a guy like Danielle Hunter who can just beat you with technique, with an array of pass rush moves, and obviously the bull rush that he has is deadly. Having an extra tight end to chip. The wide receivers, we've heard it all camp. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, I've never been this open in my life. They are going to do things, if you guys haven't heard this in the last 3 years, but schematically, that will move guys around and get them in space and be able to put them, scheme them open and scheme them versus their opponent instead of just saying, hey, go beat your matchup. So that's going to be different for this team that we're going to see. And obviously quarterback, we talked about how quarterback friendly, body blow, haymaker. It's going to be part of that system. And as a run first team, they're going to be setting up. We saw it in their second preseason game. So play action was over 50%. They're going to be using play action a ton. It's going to work when they get the running game going on even more effectively, even though you don't need a running game to utilize it. But yeah, you can sense the energy in the room. Everyone has nothing but positive things to say about Canales, the way he teaches, the way he's Baker said it today. It's refreshing to have him in there. When they make mistakes, he's not yelling at them. It's a learning process. The way he installed the offense, one installation at a time instead of throwing the whole playbook at them to make sure they really understood the concept of what was going to happen on this installation phase and the next, and then putting it all together. If he's got a good season, he might mess around and find himself as a head coaching candidate at the end of the year.
Okay, I like it. And I wanted to discuss this because this was a guy that I think that has the potential to blow up. But Al Bundy says Payne Durham hasn't looked good this preseason. Do you think that he's just, in your opinion, from what you guys have seen, and anybody can answer, do you think he's just one of those players that he's gonna make things happen? It's just gonna be a slow progression. Anybody can answer. Slick, what do you think?
I mean, we can only go off a couple of the gentlemen in this room have been at the practices, so it's a little bit. Me and you can only go off what we see in preseason games, and in the preseason games he hasn't looked special, but he might be lighting it up in practice. There's a lot of players that when we have those head scratching moments when we see the cuts and we're like, well, why did they get rid of that guy? He was amazing in preseason, but he might have been dropping the ball like left, right, and center in practice. So I think it'd probably be a better question for JC, to be honest. He's probably been around him a little bit more than the rest of us.
I think Payne he's a 5th round pick. So let's put that in perspective. And he's really known for his red zone ability. He had that one red zone touchdown in the preseason. It's going to take some time. I think he needs a full year in an NFL, strength and conditioning program. Also, just to kind of assimilate. I think he'll be a bigger factor towards the end of the season than the beginning of the season. It wouldn't be surprised to me to see him as an inactive on game day this week, to be honest with you. I feel like they've got a package for Otten and Wells, and then Keith is going to be that blocker, jack of all trades, special teams ace. Payne, he's going to develop behind the scenes, and they're hoping next year he can be a big part of that room. Maybe it will be him, Cade, and leading that room next year. But I wouldn't say he hasn't looked great. He hasn't looked terrible. He's just been kind of making plays as they come to him. He certainly hasn't lit it up, but he'll be a factor later in the season more so than early on. I actually expect him to be an actor for this game. And just to answer Al Bundy, Bucs game day, because you've dropped it 500 times. We're getting our podcast up here soon. As soon as we do, you'll know. Just look up for Bucs game day SI, and we'll be launching a ton of content on there too.
Gotcha. And all right, guys, and I just want to, because people have been talking about this, and we need to just get this. Slick and I have already discussed this, but all right, this is a yes or no question, and then give us your reasons. Devin, is Justin Jefferson elite? Yes or no?
I'm gonna say, I know you disagree. I'm gonna say yes at this point. I think what he has shown, he's something special.
Okay, JT.
Absolutely, for me, Justin Jefferson is the best receiver in football right now.
Yes, that is hands down. The things he does, yeah, he's elite. He's the best receiver in football.
All right, Slick.
I think. Well, I always like to say you want to have a few more years, but he has shown consistency already. At the moment, if you were to put him where he is in that top echelon of wide receivers. As a career, no, because he's not got the resume yet for it. So you can't really turn around and say he's going to be better than Mike Evans or he's going to be better than this person. He could flame out after a few more. I don't see it happening. He could slow down, but it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at career right now, he needs to prove he needs to tag on a few more seasons. But if you're looking at right now, like what he has done lately, and let's face it, football is what have you done for me lately. He's up there. He's definitely in the top 3 for sure.
He's about to get paid as a number 1 receiver in all of football in a minute here. So
he's gonna shatter the market.
Yeah, we'll see, but we'll see, guys.
Those baby mamas.
Yeah. Yes, we'll see. I'm with Slick on this. To me, you need between 4 to 5 years of consistency where I even put you as an elite. Did he have a hell of a season? Absolutely. He had an elite
seasons.
Yes, he did. But didn't we see this with Cooper Kupp the year before that? We saw this, and then what happened? Injury.
Offensive line injuries. He got injured. Stafford got injured. Doesn't mean that he's not an elite wide receiver. You can't control the things around you. As a playmaker, as a receiver in the NFL right now, today, he is probably the best wide receiver. You can make an argument about his longevity. You can make an argument about his entire career, but Jetta is the best wide receiver in football right now. He's going to get paid like the best wide receiver right now, and teams constantly have to find a way to double team him, game plan around him because he's that damn good. There's not many wide receivers that you're doing that with. You can, I mean, I don't know how to clear to put it. Jay Jetta is the best receiver in football right now.
Hey, if that's the case, Carlton did the hell of a job by shutting him down.
He does that though. Hopkins in Houston, Julio Jones in Atlanta in his prime, Devontae Adams in Green Bay. Carlton Davis doesn't get recognition because he's got stone hands. If he would have caught more interceptions, Carlton Davis would be regarded as a top 10 cornerback in the league. Jamel Dean is a top 10 cornerback in the league over the last few years, especially when he's playing in press man and not zone. He is one of the best press man coverage cornerbacks in the league, and he's finished he's finished in the top 3 the last 3 seasons in coverage grade, just next to Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
These are good cornerbacks. They just can't catch balls, or else
Oh,
they'd be
absolutely.
at Pro Bowls every year.
Well, absolutely. And I think another thing, we know this. Sometimes in the NFL, it's almost, sometimes we don't like the media where they try to make things like the WWE, because they typically like to go for players with more, like, I'll say colorful personalities, good or bad. If you got a big mouth and you run it and you do a little something, the league will pay more attention. Like, in my opinion, Carlton Davis is just as good as Marshawn Lattimore, if not if without overall, coverage wise, just the same. But who gets more lenient, like leniency? Marshawn Lattimore, especially when it comes to the Mike Evans situation. He hacks him all the damn time. But when you're on a big team and he just happened to be on the team with Breeze and all them, and they were more popular, you tend to, and he mouths off as well. So they're gonna recognize him like a Jalen Ramsey. But then when these guys get burnt, you don't hear nothing. Carlton Davis, does he have a mouth? Sometimes, but the Bucs, there are a lot of players outside of Devin and them that when they do their job, they don't get the recognition because they're not loud. That's why I agree with you. I think Carlton Davis is going to have another good game against Justin Jefferson. Sometimes being a high volume receiver, to me, doesn't always make you the best, because Michael Thomas had a great season, but look at Slant Boy. He can't stay healthy, and when they learned to stop the slant, it was it. So sometimes I think when you're the only receiver, they feed you a lot, because Evans doesn't always get fed the ball, but when he does, he makes things happen. So do other receivers, Hopkins as well. I just want to see where Justin Jefferson goes from that, because I want to know what happens. Is he the guy that needs to get 15 targets, or is he the guy that he makes the right 4 catches to win the game? So we'll see. Because when it's going, it's going. But at this moment, I'm going to say not elite, but the potential is there. I'm not going to say he's not. I see him being in the top. I see him finishing the season as top 3, if not number 1 again. I do. I see him he's that good. Like when people said Jamar Chase, I'm like, nah, Justin Jefferson has surpassed Jamar Chase already, in my opinion.
Okay, JC, you've got to get cracking, haven't you, buddy?
Yeah, I got to finish up these articles, man. But always a pleasure popping on. I'll definitely, be around more often. I told Keith, just give me a holler. Bucs Report's where I started. This is SI, Pewter Report. None of that would have been possible without the opportunity that the dude gave me here. So always down to come back to my roots. Tons of content coming up at Bucs Game Day. Tons of content already out. So make sure you're tuning in over there. Follow me at JC Allen NFL. If you're not following us at Bucs Game Day on Twitter, please do so. We have an amazing following on Facebook. We're trying to grow our following on Twitter right now. We'll be pumping out great content, practice updates as well. Who's practicing, who's not, press conference updates, stuff that you won't necessarily find everything on our website. So definitely check us out. Check me out too on Twitter. And guys, it was a pleasure coming in here chatting with y'all. And we'll do this again sometime.
Absolutely, man. Thanks a lot, JC. And appreciate you giving us an update. You take it easy.
All right. Later, guys.
Later. Yes, that was some good news that he gave us, guys. I'm just happy that the vibe is different because I'm so excited. I really think this Bucs team has the potential to be that sleeper, to be that team where the media is going to go, oh, damn, well, I saw that, the Bucs were going to be good. I'm going to tell you this right now. If the Bucs are 3-1 by the bye week, a lot of people owe me an apology. JT, let's do a percentage. First, let's start with Devin, and then we go our way up. I'll be last. A percentage wise, if that's the case, what is the percentage if you had to say the Bucs by the bye week can be 3-1 or 4-0? I know I'm throwing it out there. Percentage.
I'd say 80%. I don't like the Vikings. Like, I don't think they're very good. Bears are still rebuilding. Like, that. I think the defense can handle. If they can stop the run, then that team is dead. Eagles, if they're struggling early, then maybe, but that's going to be difficult. And I don't like the Saints either. Like, the head coach and offensive coordinator were really the only two that looked worse than, Todd Bowles and he who shall not be named. And they lost so many pieces on the defensive line. Like, I know they weren't necessarily like Pro Bowl caliber players even, but still, you lose that many like players that had that many snaps. Like, something is bound to happen.
My man. Okay, how about you, Slick?
I think it's very possible. Like I said, I don't really like those teams. The only thing I have that would say is the Saints have had our number in recent years, in most recent years, but until this last year. But we're a completely different offensive scheme, and we know that they were very built to beat Bruce Arians' offense, and they did so every single time they pretty much went up against it, except for one time.
Except
mattered. Yeah, the one that mattered. But I don't believe the hullabaloo about Derek Carr. I really don't. I don't know I know that he's a good quarterback. I think he's actually on a decline right now. I think his best years are behind him. It's going to take a good coach to maybe push him forward, and I don't think they have a good coach. If he went to the Saints with Sean Payton, I would say they could be dangerous because I think he's the type of coach that could reinvigorate his career. I don't even know who their offensive coordinator is.
It's Pete Carmichael, if I remember correctly.
So nobody then.
Yeah, got some.
I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm just saying, if you were going
the mustache,
if he was going to get hold of someone like Sean Payton, then I'd say, yeah, this team could be dangerous because I think they could scheme incredibly well with him. Not to say that they won't. I'm just like to remind people that he was on a team with Darren Waller. He did have the number one rusher in football, and he had his best buddy back from college in Devontae Adams, and rided the pine. So that says a lot, in my opinion, when you've got that much talent around you. And I know it's a dysfunctional franchise. We all know that. Maybe he does have his year, but I don't see it. Chris Olave will be good. He will be good for them for sure. He'll probably be a 1,000-yard receiver. I generally believe that will happen. They've got good running backs, but we're built to stop it. Like, that's our one thing that we're good at. It's like someone turn around and go, yeah, but Slick, they got this team's got this person. I'm like, we've played against Derrick Henry and he couldn't get 100 yards again against us. I don't worry about any team with a run. The only team I fear with a run is the Ravens, because they're so creative with it. Yeah. Because their quarterback can do it. They've got a two-headed running back that can do it, and they feed the ball every which way. And say San Fran as well. They've got a very creative run game. It's not that the fact that it's like a really good ground and pound, and they'll just bully you to death. They're very creative, and I think that's what we're going to get when our run game is. We're going to get that little shot in the arm of creativity. So it's going to be interesting, but I do think it's very possible. I want it to obviously happen. Of course, I'd want it to happen, but it'll be that one kind of like I get to go into smug mode, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, with that big grin on my face and going, "You what now, boys?" Yeah.
I can dig it. Well, JT, what about you? Percentages, 3-1 or 4-0? Give me either or.
I guess I'll say like 40% to go 3-1, and less than that for 4-0. I do expect them to beat the Vikings and the Bears. I think the Bucs are just a better team than those two teams. The Bucs defense still looks like a top 5 unit in the NFL, even though the Vikings offense is probably comparable in terms of how good they are. Their defense is just so bad. So I expect the Bucs to go into Minnesota this week, pull off the upset, come home, and then take care of the team that had the worst record in the NFL last year. So I think that part, I feel pretty confident in those first two games. Then you have the Eagles, obviously NFC champions. they're just so well rounded. So good in the trenches. Jalen Hurts was so great last year. AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. They just have so many good players. They just draft so well and they develop their guys. I think the Bucs match up fairly well with them overall. A guy like Carlton Davis, who we were just talking about, with how physical he is, he can really match up with a guy like AJ Brown, who I think is a little bit overrated right now. He's kind of getting that buzz as like a top 5 receiver, and I wouldn't put him in that elite category that Jay Jet's in. Because I think Carlton Davis can really limit a guy like that. DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Galladay, he excels against those big physical receivers. And then you factor in, the Eagles lost their best interior pass rusher. They lost both their coordinators. They lost their best linebackers. Getting them early, it is a good time to get this Eagles team because they're still kind of finding themselves at this point in the year. And then the Saints, like Slick was saying, it's always a battle with the Saints. This is one of the best rivalries in the NFL right now. Going to New Orleans is a challenge, even though I think the Bucs are probably a better team. Both teams have a lot of questions they need to answer. The Bucs with their offensive line and Baker Mayfield, and is Canales the guy we think he's going to be? And then the Saints, all their best players are all early mid 30s. Does Cameron Jordan still have it? Does Tyrann Mathieu still play at that high level that we've come to expect from him? Davis in the middle at linebacker, one of the better linebackers in the NFL over the last decade, but he's in his 30s. So how much gas do those key players have left in the tank? So, I'd say, probably under 50%, just because winning all those games would be difficult, especially the Eagles. But I feel really good about at least 2-2 as a floor, and with the possibility of 4-0, I just, odds are probably not 4-0.
I can dig you guys. I'm going to go and say for 3-1, I'm going to go with 65% chance. I say that everybody just said it. Vikings were much more talented. Bears, definitely. Eagles, we could catch them. I'll say this for the Eagles: if we contain Hurts running, we're winning the game. I don't think he's gonna be like quarterback savvy, like in the pocket and truly going through his progressions just yet until later on down in the season. So that game is honestly a 50-50. I think if the Bucs offense, if they have a run game against that team that can be average, they'll win. The Saints, the reason why I think the Bucs will beat the Saints is like you just said, those guys they're running on fumes. That team is on its way out. Cam Jordan is a situational guy now. I think the way to beat Cam Jordan is make him play all game and wear him out. I think actually Getke might have some moments with Cam, and if not, you can chip him. So that's why now 4-0, I'd say it's like at 30%, because like I said, the biggest obstacle is the Eagles. The Saints maybe, but I honestly think this Bucs team is going to shock a lot of people, and the X factor, especially in the Saints game, JT, is going to be Baker. Why? We all know that team was designed to shut down Arians because Arians didn't have an improvising offense for the most part. It was just you better know your role and your part, and you go out there and do your best route running. With Baker, he can change and improvise, and if the line collapses, you might make his day because he can get out of the pocket and move. We know Brady didn't do that. That's why Brady had his worst games against the Saints. We knew when our receivers got jammed or there was no crossing routes, no rollouts, not a lot of play action, and no consistent run game. It took all of that to beat the Saints. Now the Bucs have all that and they have creativity. So I have high. I really think, just due to the fact that the NFC is very weak and it's early, you guys, the Bucs are going to be in good shape. I say 2-2 is the worst case scenario, and if we are at 2-2, all Buck fans will be super grateful. I know I'll be grateful. I'll be like 2-2. All right, and we're in the bye week. I'm good to go.
0-4, I'm calling for someone's head.
2-2, you gonna call for somebody's head?
It depends on, I guess, how we look. If it's
Oh yeah, no. If we get blown out by if we lose by the Eagles by 10 points, I'll be fine. But if we get blown out by the Eagles and we lose with the Saints by like double scores, then yes, I will be like, what the hell's going on? Like somebody, and especially if it's the defense fault, I'll go, Bowles, what are we doing? And if we're healthy, this Bucs defense is top 5. It should be, in my opinion. But it's getting to that time. Let's get in our predictions. Let's start it again with the points and who's gonna be the player of the game. Devin, what's your prediction score?
I think with just like all the newness on the Bucs offense, the Vikings won't have the film. Obviously, everyone knows that it's like a what's it called? Like an offshoot of the McVay, Shanahan sort of West Coast offense. So there is tape, but it's like with how Dave Canales will run it, it will be new. So I think honestly, it's probably going to be more of a shootout. I'm going to say 28-21 and Bucs winning it.
All right. What about you, Slick?
I'm gonna go. I'll go with the. Hang on, I'm thinking now. They're gonna score 20 points. They're gonna be under the 21 threshold. I think they go 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. And they will have another possession. We will be 28, and they will have a possession to try and finish off the game to try and get up there, and he'll get capped off with a interception.
So
a turnover play.
Okay, so what's your score?
20-28.
Gotcha. How about you, JT?
I'm a little bit in that same ballpark. It's going to be a story of a great offense versus a great defense, and a questionable defense versus a maybe questionable offense. So I think it'll be a little bit more low scoring. I'm going to go Vikings 20. I'm going to stick with that same pick. And then Bucs 23. I think they're going to get that walk-off field goal. Baker Mayfield's going to lead the drive, and it's going to be one of those moments like, hey, he's arrived. The Bucs are real. You all thought, the Geno Smith last year, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Baker's going to take that moment this year.
I'm going out there, guys. I just think that the Bucs are going to have too much to overwhelm good old Kirk Cousins, because I think when he gets rattled early, it's going to be a long day. And I think especially if the Bucs score early and fast, that I think they will, because like Devin said, they don't have enough film to really truly know what's going to happen. I got the Bucs and then the defense. I think the defense is. I expect 2 turnovers for this Bucs defense, and I expect it to be a low-scoring game, but not the way that people think. My prediction is Bucs 24, Vikings 10. So that is just me. But anybody got any final say that they would like to give to the Bucs? Like, what would be your first thing that you want to tell this Bucs team, and then we can have everybody give everybody out where to follow you, what you got going on next, so we can get this going. How about you, Devin?
I'd say just final notes. Stay healthy would be the big one. I don't really like the depth, especially on defense. Other than that, I just think just play cliche coach speak, just play mistake-free football, and I think this team can go far. So yeah, that's my notes to the team, I guess.
All right. Anywhere can you tell everybody where they can find you, man, and what you got coming up with next?
Oh yeah, okay. So obviously you can find me www.cannoncrunch.wordpress.com, and then I'm on Twitter at Devin Sang. Also, or you can just search Cannon Crunch. You should be able to find me. I'm gonna try to get out tonight. I probably won't though, because I just need to eat something. but I'm going to write about obviously Shaq Barrett's contract restructure. I might do an updated season prediction for the Bucs just because things have changed with the schedule, especially regarding a certain AFC South team. Oh, to answer Bundy's question, I do not. I may soon. I just haven't. I haven't had time to work on anything like that.
Devin Sanegetti. I'm sorry, Seganet. Thank you so much. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Look, hey, awesome last name. That's just me. But again, always thank you for your time, man, and please come back so we can discuss more football.
Yeah, I'd love to be back.
Yes, let us know, my man. But you take it easy. Have a good rest of your evening, my man.
All right, thank you. Have a
No
good one.
problem. You too. Oops. All right. What about you, JT? Last words and what's up?
So I guess last words. We know what this Bucs defense is. We know it's going to be a really, really strong unit. Bucs offense, just keep in mind, it's going to look very different this year. It's going to be a lot more dink and dunk, a lot more, 3-5 yard gains as opposed to 10, 12, 20 yard gains. So it's going to be more of a game of patience this year. Chip away at this bad Vikings defense, bad Bears defense. And, we'll hit them with those uppercuts eventually. It's kind of like, I know Ken Analysis uses a boxing metaphor. You set them up with the body blows and the jabs, and then, you only get one or two big haymakers in the fight. That's how this Bucs offense is really going to look. Chip away and then just slowly, you get 7 this quarter, you get 10 in the third quarter, you get another 7 in the fourth, you got 24 points, and your defense can hold them, mid-teens, low 20s, and you're going to be in good shape every game. So be prepared for a very different experience with the offense. And I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a welcome change. And I think it's going to really get the most out of all of these players.
My man. And tell them where they can find you, JT, and what plans you got next.
So you can find me on Twitter at Icewater Olson is my handle. Again, all my written work is at bucksreport.com. You can catch my podcast, the Creamsicle Chronicle podcast, tomorrow night at 9:30. We're having a guest on to preview the Vikings game, so we're getting a Vikings host to kind of give us some Vikings insight. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be Tyler Fronos of the Vikings Wire, so tune in if you want that Vikings preview. And then we just debuted our new gambling podcast last week. It's called Around the Books. So if you are someone who's into sports gambling, I don't think it's legalized down there in Florida yet, but it is up here in Michigan, so I have a lot of fun with that. So if that's something you're interested in, you can find us on the Around the Block podcast network and check us out.
Thank you so much for your time, JT. Always a pleasure. And look, we rooting for Gedeke as well, my man.
Fire up chips. That's all I'm saying.
My man, I can dig it. Well, thank you and have a good evening, my man.
I got you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, brother.
Thank you. Slick, I'm going to ask you, man. Uh-oh, there he is. There he is.
It went by on full screen. There we go.
Look. Got a jersey on looking like you about to go out there and drop 20 for no reason. I see you.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So yeah, for me, I'd say if we're talking to the team, I'm just saying be patient. Don't cause penalties. Don't shoot yourself points. Don't shoot yourself in the foot at critical times. If you bosh up a drive, do it early so you can get it out over and done with. Don't do it when we're deep. Don't knock us out of field goal range. Don't do stupid shit because stupid shit always fucks everything up. And if we're talking to the fans, be patient.
Yeah,
Rome wasn't built in a day, and this team it's not a rebuild, but this whole new regime that we got, it's gonna take a little bit of time. The game might not be a pretty one. I've got a feeling it might not be pretty. It could be super low scoring, and the Buccaneers only scored more akin to the score that you said. It could well easily be that. So be patient, and of course you know where you can find me. Always here.
Always, my man, and I love it. I'll say this, Bucs, to the Buccaneer organization, to the Buccaneer players, believe. That's all I want to see you guys do. Believe in each other and go out there and know that you're going to do it. That is the most important thing. Last season, I didn't get that kind of vibe. So this season, just believe. The NFC is yours for the taking. You know the competition is not like the AFC. So get out there and do it. For the fans, same thing. Just relax and I have a motto: respect the process. This is going to be a process, Bucs fans. We're not going to see a high-flying offensive scoring machine at this moment. If we do, hallelujah, that's beautiful. But I'm being realistic. Only reason why I predict Bucs getting 24 is just because I think we're playing an inferior team. If we were playing like the 49ers or the Eagles the first game, the answer would be no. I'd be happy we get the 14 actually. But that is all I'm going to say. And for the rest of you Buck fans out there, again, I appreciate you for listening to the aftermath of 102.9, the Game Broad Street South Radio. And furthermore, please follow me. I'm going to be posting another video on my YouTube channel of It's About Bucking Time. And also, if you go to my Instagram, AJ Turnup, I have a link. You can go in there and check out this wonderful merchandise.
Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck.
And check it out. And I got so many motivational things in there as well. But as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks, brother. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. I just thought I'd pop in and join in, but tied up at work, and here I am. So the Bucks are in it now. Season starts tomorrow, and our season starts on Sunday. So we got to get ready to rock and roll. Hopefully, Kalijah Cansey will be healthy, and we'll get to see a little bit of him because we've kind of been chomping the bit to see him. And then that lethal pass rush that we got, and rotate those guys such as Yaya Diaby and Anthony Nelson in as well. So big shout out to Carl Nassib, who retired today. So enjoy your retirement, brother. We were very thankful to have you on the team when we did. You were always a pleasure you were always a pleasure to watch, man. So enjoy your retirement. Until then, Bucks fans, we will see you on the aftermath, which will be Monday. It'll be Monday 9:30. I'll be doing post-game show, which will be within the hour of the game finishing, probably way earlier than that, to be honest, probably within 15 minutes of the game finishing. But you will know my face will be present, and I'm sure AJ's got something going on for the pre-game too. So until then, guys, Bucks on me, Bucks on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucks!